Very good morning to all my dear students. Hope you're all safe and sound at home. Welcome to our 10th standard English online video class. Today I'm going to teach you English grammar of class 10 unit 1. Topic is active and passive voice. Before that, I have a question for you. To construct a strong building, what are the materials needed? Yes, very good. To construct a building, we need cement, sand, water, grovels, iron bars, and etc. Likewise, to construct a meaningful sentence, we need parts of speech, articles, predicate, and etc. Only these parts of speech are arranged in the right place, we will have a meaningful sentence. Now, for our topic active and passive voice, we need to concentrate on subject, verb, and object. What is subject? Subject tells whom or what the sentence is about. யாரை பற்றி எதை பற்றி அந்த சென்டென்ஸ் இருக்குது அப்படின்றத சொல்கிறது தான் subject. Clear? Subject is either a noun or a pronoun. Okay? Verb. What is verb? Verb is an action word. Fly, catch, come, kill, eat, write, read, etc. These are the examples for verb. Okay. Next, what is object? It answers for the questions who or what. What is object? It answers for the questions who or what. Okay. Subject comes at the beginning of the sentence and object comes at the end of the sentence. Clear? Look at this example. Rahim eats a mango. In this sentence, which is subject? This sentence is about Rahim. So, Rahim is the subject, which is a verb. Eats. Eats is a verb. And which is object? A mango. A mango is a object, right? Very good. Now, let me explain you what is voice. Voice is a verb form which shows relation between subject and the object. Let me explain you in another way. Voice is the form of the verb which indicates whether a person or a thing does something or something has been done to a person or a thing. Clear? Look at these examples. First one, the hunter killed a tiger. In this sentence, which is the subject? The hunter is the subject because he did the action killed. What did he kill? He killed a tiger. So this is object. Killed is a verb. The hunter is the subject. In this sentence, subject does something. Subject is doing something. Okay. Look at this second example. The tiger was killed by the hunter. Here, which is the subject? The tiger. So something is done to the subject. In this sentence, something is happened to the subject. So what is voice? Voice is a form of verb which indicates whether a person or a thing does something or something has done to the person or a thing. That is the voice. Okay, that is the voice. Voice is the verb form which indicates whether a person or a thing does something or something has done to the subject. Something has done to the person or a thing. That is voice. Is that clear, children? Now we are going to see about kinds of voices. Okay, there are two kinds of voices, namely active voice and passive voice. There are two kinds of voices. They are active voice and passive voice. Let me explain you about active voice first. Okay, what is active voice? If the subject is the doer of the action, the verb is in active voice. Once again, I'll repeat. If the subject is the doer of the action, the verb is in active voice. What is mean by doer? The person or a thing who is doing the action in that sentence is called doer. Okay, Who is doer? The person or a thing who is doing the action in that sentence is known as doer. Okay, so if the subject is the doer, that is active voice. If the subject is the doer, that is the active voice. Look at these examples. He cuts the tree. He cuts the tree. What action is happening here? Cuts. Who cuts the tree? He. So who is doing the action here? He is the doer of the action. So he is the subject. Okay, so subject is the doer of the action. So this is active voice. Look at the second example. Raju eats a mango. Which is the subject here? Raju. Who is doing the action? Raju. So subject is the doer of the action in this sentence. So this is active voice. Raju is the doer of the action. That Raju is in subject place. So this is active voice. So subject, if the subject is the doer of the action, that is called active voice. Next, let me explain you about in active voice. Subject will be the doer of the action and object will be the receiver of the action. Clear, children? Now I am going to explain you about passive voice. What is passive voice? If the subject is the receiver of the action, then the verb is in passive voice. If the subject is the receiver of the action, that is passive voice. If the subject is the receiver of the action, then that verb is in the passive voice. Clear, children? Look at this example. A mango is eaten by Rahim. Which is the subject here? Subject comes at the beginning of the sentence, right? So which is the subject here? A mango. Which is the object here? Rahim. Object comes at the end of the sentence. Object is Rahim and subject is a mango. Here subject is receiving the action. Something as done to the subject here. Mango is eaten by Rahim. So something is happened to the subject in this sentence. So this is passive voice. Okay. In this sentence, subject is receiving the action. So this is known as passive voice. So this verb is in passive voice. Clear, children? Okay. In a sentence, if the subject is doing the action and object is receiving the action means, then that sentence is in active voice. Okay. In a sentence, if the subject is receiving the action and object is doing the action means, then that sentence is in passive voice. Is that clear? Now I am going to teach you rules for changing active voice into passive voice. Now we are going to discuss how to change active voice into passive voice. What are the rules we have to follow to change active into passive voice? Okay. First rule number 1 is the subject of the active voice becomes the object of the passive voice. Clear? What is the rule? What is the rule number 1? The subject of the active voice becomes the object of the passive voice. Then the object of the active voice becomes the subject of the passive voice. You have to crisscross the position of the subject and the object when you change into active, when you change active into passive. Okay, look at this example. Raju eats a mango. This is in active voice. Raju eats mango. Which is the subject? Raju. Which is the object? A mango. When you change this active into passive, you have to crisscross the position of the subject and the object. You have to change subject becomes object in passive voice. Here object becomes subject in passive voice. Clear? Raju becomes object here. Mango becomes subject here in passive voice. Clear? Raju eats a mango. This is active voice. When you change this into passive, you have to crisscross the position of the subject and the object. So you have to bring the object first in passive voice, a mango. Then you have to take this subject at the last, Raju. So then you have to change the verb form. Okay, a mango is eaten. You have to add the preposition by before object in passive voice. Okay, a mango is eaten by Raju. Remember, the rule number 1 is the subject of the active voice becomes the object of the passive voice. Subject of the active voice becomes the object of the passive voice. Clear? Next, the object of the active voice becomes the subject of the passive voice. Is that clear, children? Next, rule number 2 is if the subject of the active voice is pronoun, it will take one of the following forms in the passive voice. If the subject of the active voice is pronoun, you have to take one of the following forms in the passive voice. Okay, if the subject is I, means how do you change this into passive voice? How do you change this as object in passive voice? I becomes me, we becomes us, you becomes you, they becomes them, he becomes him, she becomes her, it becomes it. Clear? I, me, we, us, you, they, them, he, him, she, her, it. Look at this example. He cut the tree. This is an active voice. Subject is pronoun here. So the subjective pronoun has to change as objective pronoun. So how do you change this? You have to bring the object first. The tree was cut by, he becomes him, by him. Clear? The tree was cut by him. Rule number 3 is in passive voice, verb is followed by the preposition by. You have to add the preposition by after the verb in front of the object. Okay, objectக்கு முன்னாடியும் verbக்கு அடுத்தும் நீ என்ன ஆட் பண்ணணும்? preposition by add பண்ணணும் when you change active into passive voice. Clear? When you change active into passive voice, you have to add the preposition by before object. Clear, children? Look at this example. Active voice, the tiger kills the deer. How do you change this into passive? The deer is killed by. You have to add the preposition by before the object and after the verb. Verbுக்கு அடுத்ததாவும் objectக்கு முன்னாடியும் நீ என்ன ஆட் பண்ணணும்? preposition by add பண்ணணும். Okay, when you change active into passive, you have to add the preposition by before the object and after the verb. Clear? First we will discuss about present tense. First we are going to discuss about simple present tense. Okay, what is the voice form of simple present tense in active voice? Verb or verb plus yes. This is the voice form of active voice in simple present tense. Root verb or root verb plus yes. That means eat or eat plus yes, eats. Okay, look at the example. Rahim eats a mango. Which is the verb here? Eats. Verb, root verb plus yes, eats. This is in singular form. Look at the second one. They eat mangoes. Which is the verb here? Eat. Root verb alone has come here. Okay, this is in plural form. Okay, how do you change this into passive voice? What is the voice form of passive voice in simple present tense? Am, is or plus past participle. Where do we use am? For pronoun I, you have to use am. For pronouns he, she, it, we have to use is, and for singular noun we have to use is. Okay, for the pronouns you, we, they, we have to use are, and also for plural nouns we have to use are. Clear? So look at the example. Rahim eats a mango. How do you change this into passive? First you have to bring the object first. A mango. What is the tense here? Eats. What is the verb form here? Eats. Eat verb plus yes, eats. This is in simple present tense. So what is the subject here? A mango. A mango is singular. So which be form we have to use? For singular means you have to use is. A mango is. What is the past participle of eat? eaten. A mango is eaten. You have to add the preposition after the verb. So by, a mango is eaten by, what is the subject here? Rahim. So you have to write subject as object in passive voice. Rahim. A mango is eaten by Rahim. Look at the second example. They eat mangoes. How do you change this into passive voice? First you have to bring mangoes first. Mangoes eat. Simple present tense. Mangoes is plural. Mangoes are plural noun. So which be form you have to use? For plural you have to use are. Mangoes are, what is the past participle of eat? Eaten. Then add preposition by. What is the objective pronoun for they? Them. Mangoes are eaten by them. Clear, children? Shall we move on to next one? Next we are going to learn about present continuous tense. Present continuous tense. What is the voice form of present continuous tense in active voice? Am, is, are plus verb plus ing. Already we have seen for pronoun I you have to use am. For the pronouns he, she, it you have to use is. And for singular noun also you have to use is. Then for pronouns you, we, they you have to use are. And for plural noun also you have to use are. Clear? So what is the voice form of active voice in present continuous tense? Am, is, are plus verb plus ing. Look at the example. I am eating a biscuit. Am eating. This is the verb form. Am eating a biscuit. This is singular. Students are eating fruits. This is the example for plural. Students are eating. Students is a plural noun, so we have to use are. Students are eating fruits. Next we are going to discuss passive voice. What is the voice form of passive voice in present continuous tense? Am, is, are plus being plus past participle. Okay, you have to use am, is, are as it is. After that you have to use being plus past participle form of the verb. Okay, so then how can we change this I am eating a biscuit into passive form? First you have, which is the object here? A biscuit. You have to bring this object first. Yeah, biscuit. A biscuit is a singular or plural? It is singular. So which be form you have to use? Is. For singular noun you have to use is. Then you have to add being. A biscuit is being. What is the past participle of eat? Eaten. A biscuit is being eaten. Then add preposition by. What is the objective pronoun for I? Me. So a biscuit is being eaten by me. Okay, next example. Students are eating fruits. This is in plural form. So first bring fruits. Fruits is object here. So first bring this fruits. What is the be form for plural in present continuous tense? Are. Fruits are. Then what you have to add? Being. Fruits are being eaten by the students. By the students. Fruits are being eaten by the students. Clear, children? Next we are going to discuss about present perfect tense. What is the voice form of present perfect tense in active voice? Has or have plus past participle. Where do we use has? For the pronouns he, she, it, you have to use has. For the pronouns I, we, you, they, you have to use have. Clear? For singular noun, you have to use as. For plural noun, you have to use have. Clear? Look at the example. He has eaten lunch. Which is the verb form here? Has eaten. This is the example for singular. They have eaten a biscuit packet. Have eaten. This is the example for plural noun. Plural form. Okay. He has eaten lunch. They have eaten a biscuit packet. Okay. So now we are going to see the voice form of passive voice in present perfect tense. What is the voice form of passive voice in present perfect tense? As or have plus been plus past participle. Okay, has or have plus, you have to add been plus past participle. Okay, now change this into passive. First bring the object first, which is the object here, lunch. So bring it first, lunch. Then you have to add as or have. Lunch is singular, so you have to add, you have to use has. Okay, for singular has, for plural have. Lunch as. Next you have to write been. Lunch has been. What is the past? Already they have given past participle. Okay, eaten. Lunch has been eaten by. What is the objective pronoun for he? Him. Lunch has been eaten by him. Okay. Next, look at the second one. They have eaten a biscuit packet. Which is the object here? A biscuit packet. So bring it first. A biscuit packet. A biscuit packet is a singular. So you have to add has. Then you have to add been, as been. What is the past participle? Eaten. A biscuit packet has been eaten by. What is the objective pronoun for they? Them. A biscuit packet has been eaten by them. Last one, present perfect continuous tense. There is no passive form for present perfect tense. Present perfect continuous tense. Okay. Next we are going to discuss about past tense. First we are going to learn about simple past tense. Example, Kavita sang a song. This is in active voice. How do you change this into passive? What is the voice form of passive voice in simple past tense? Was or were plus past participle. Where do we use was? For the pronoun he, she, it and I, you have to use was. For the pronouns we, you, they, you have to use were. For singular noun you have to use was. For plural noun you have to use were. Okay. So how do you change this sentence into passive form? Kavita sang a song. Which is the object here? A song. First you have to bring this, a song. Song is singular, so which be form you have to use? Was or were? Singular means you have to use was. A sang was. What is the past participle of sing? What is the past participle of sing? Sung. A song was sung by. What is the subject here in active voice? Kavita. So bring that word Kavita at last. A song was sung by Kavita. Clear, children? For simple past tense, what voice form you have to use in passive form? Was or were plus past participle. For he, she, it, I have to use was. For the pronouns we, you, they, you have to use were. For singular noun you have to use was. For plural noun you have to use were. Then you have to add past participle. Clear, children? Next we are going to learn about past continuous tense. What is the voice form of past continuous tense in active voice? Was or were plus verb plus ing. Look at the example. The choir group was singing the prayer song, which is the verb here, was singing. So was plus verb plus ing. So this is in past continuous tense. Suppose if the be form is means, that is present continuous tense. Here be form was is here. So this is past continuous. The choir group was singing the prayer song. How do you change this into passive? What is the voice form of passive voice in past continuous tense? Was or were plus being plus past participle. Okay. So where do we use was? For he, she, it, I have to use was. For we, you, they, you have to use were. Clear? So change this sentence into passive. The choir group was singing the prayer song. Which is the object here? The prayer song. You have to change this object into subject in passive voice. The prayer song. prayer song is singular, so which be form you have to use? Was or were? Was. Very good. The prayer song was being sung by the choir group. Clear? Next, third one, past perfect tense. Past perfect tense, what is the voice form of past perfect tense? Had plus past participle. Clear? Look at the example. You had sung the national anthem. Had plus past participle means that is past perfect tense. How do you change this into passive voice? What is the voice form of passive voice in past perfect? Had plus been plus past participle. Change this sentence into passive. What is the object here? The national anthem. Bring that as subject in passive, the national anthem. Then you have to had, H-A-D, had. Then you have to use been, B-E-E-N, been. What is the past participle of sing? Sang. Already it is given here, sung. The national anthem had been sung by you. Clear? For objective pronoun for you is you only. The national anthem had been sung by you. Last one, past perfect continuous tense. There is no passive form for past perfect continuous tense. Next we are going to discuss about future tense. First we are going to discuss about simple future tense. What is the voice form of simple future tense in active voice? Will or shall plus verb. Will or shall plus verb. Look at the example. I shall drink a cup. Which is the verb here? Shall drink. Shall plus verb. This is the what tense form? This is simple future tense. So what is the voice form of passive voice in simple future tense? Will or shall plus be plus past participle. What is the voice form for passive voice in simple future tense? Will or shall plus be plus past participle. Okay. So how do you change this into passive? I shall drink a cup of tea. Shall drink is the verb. A cup of tea is object. I is the subject. So when you change active into passive, first you have to bring the object. Okay. So first bring this object first, a cup of tea. Then you have to add will or shall. Shall. Then you have to add be. Shall be. What is the past participle for drink? Drunk. A cup of tea shall be drunk. Then add the preposition by. Then what is the objective pronoun for I? Me. A cup of tea shall be drunk by me. Next, there is no passive form for future continuous tense. So next we shall move on to future perfect tense. What is the voice form for active voice in future perfect tense? Will or shall plus have plus past participle. Will or shall plus have plus past participle. Look at the example. The grandmother will have prepared rose milk. The grandmother will have prepared rose milk. Next, what is the voice form of passive voice in future perfect tense? Will or shall plus have plus been plus past participle. Okay, you have to add been after the have. Okay, after have you have to add been. So change this into passive voice. The grandmother will have prepared rose milk. Which is the object here? Rose milk. Bring this first, rose milk. Then you have to add will or shall. Will have been. What is the past participle? Already it is given, prepared. Rose milk will have been prepared by the grandmother. Grandmother is the subject in active voice, so it becomes object in passive voice. Rose milk will have been prepared by the grandmother. Last, past perfect continuous tense. There is no passive form for past perfect continuous tense. Okay.
Children, I hope that you all have understood today's topic, and I will give you 10 sentences. You have to change those sentences into passive voice, and you have to submit this assignment in GCR without fail. Okay, we will meet in the next class. Thank you. Stay safe.